Deja vu, anyone? We were here just over a year ago to gather and mark the publication of All Out War, which was Tim's first book, and like Tolkien's Ring, a book burnished in the flames of political chaos. It was written at breakneck speed and changed many times as the Prime Minister resigned and the knifings in Westminster continued unabated. It was hailed as the best political book of last year. It absolutely was. It showed no signs of the haste in which it was written. It was shortlisted and nearly won. Wait, I haven't finished. It was shortlisted and nearly won the Orwell Prize. It was listed top of the Guido Fawkes ratings of Brexit books, and it outsold all its rivals by thousands. Hooray! Not bad for the sacrifice of Tim's summer at the altar of his laptop. It seemed then that the book's publication might mark something of an end to what I thought at the time was the most dramatic political shake-up of this country since Suez. But obviously we should have listened to Churchill. It was not the end, it was not even the beginning of the end. And judging by how this year's gone, it was not even the end of the beginning. So this new book, Fallout, here it is, everybody, began its life in January. And Tim and I met for a drink to discuss kind of next steps. And he said to me, "Never again, not ever. I'm never writing a book like that ever again, Arabella. My marriage won't survive." I nodded sympathetically. Do you remember January this year? Theresa May had a majority. Jeremy Corbyn was viewed by everybody, nearly everybody, as an electoral liability. And Ivan Rogers was still in his job in Brussels, advising nearly daily the government that we needed a transition period, that the Europeans would stick together like glue and demand absolutely vast sums of money for us, and that once we triggered Article 50, they'd have us over a barrel. Sadly, nobody listened. So I said to Tim then, why don't we just update All Out War? If someone will be rescued, we can just update it, wait until Article 50 is triggered, and then publish a lovely updated paperback edition. And he agreed. So everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face, including publishers. And political events just overtook us. And as the updates got longer and longer, as the political universe changed so dramatically, it was clear that another book was required. Theresa went for her walk in Wales, and that decision was confirmed. So this book was born, but we didn't have a title. So we thought, gosh, what are we going to call it? And various Maybot puns aside, we decided quickly on Fallout. But Fallout, vexatious debates happened over this. Is it one word or is it two? Fortunately, we had the dictionary to consult, and the definitions were so useful that they've actually formed the epigraph to the book. So, all my papers are gone. So, Fallout, 2 words. Definitions: 1, quarrel. 2, come out of formation. Fallout, 1 word. Definitions: 1, radioactive debris caused by a nuclear explosion or accident. 2, the adverse side effects of a situation. I leave it to you all to decide which definition you find more appropriate for our current circumstances. Second books are often a pale shadow of an author's debut book, but absolutely not so this one. It was written with the soundtrack of countless deadlines whooshing by, to quote Douglas Adams, but nevertheless, although it was a long, hard slog, yet again it's a masterpiece of political storytelling. Its details are never dizzying and always telling. David Davis's Faraday biscuit tin habit, the truth behind Trousergate, and the starring role played by a bunch of hydrangeas are just some examples. It's been a longer graft, but it's an even better book, which has been recognised by so many in reviews and broadcast media and social media. A long summer of writing was Tim's to endure, but at the end of it, the William Collins team turned this book around from 10 days from final delivery to sending it to press. And of course, that was a magnificent effort by our wonderful team. But really, it's a testament to the quality of the praise that Tim delivered, which is absolutely peerless. He seems to stride across one of the most complicated messes we have all witnessed in our political life, to analyse it without being dull, without preaching, and to bring all of the characters and the mistakes and the inspirations, the few inspirations in this story, absolutely to life. It's been an absolute pleasure to work on it again with him, and it is published last week. It's already selling like hotcakes in both ebook and hardback. And please, please, please read it. Frankly, it's unmissable for anybody who wants to understand what the hell's going on in our world today. His signing arm is flexing. He can write and sign his name. You know you all want it for Christmas. So please buy it, please read it, please recommend it to your friends if you enjoy it. And raise your glasses high and proudly to this amazing writer. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much indeed to Dean and to Arabella. I hate to break it to you, Dean, but it's some time since I've either sprinted or completed a marathon. There was an occasion when a bar was about to shut, but some time ago. Ladies, gentlemen, journalists, we're going down the evolutionary tree now. Brexit mutineers, cabinet ministers under investigation, and public relations professionals. Hello, good evening, and welcome. EU negotiators, bonjour, bonne soirée, et bienvenue, and senior staff at the Legatum Institute, dobro požalovat. Thank you very much for coming. It means a great deal to me. This is the second emotional moment that I've had this week. The first was writing a story about Alan Milburn attacking a charisma-free leader who couldn't make a decision, and I haven't done that since 2008. It's good to know that in turbulent and uncertain times that the promise of free booze is still enough to get politicians and journalists to get off their arses and walk 100 yards to authority. These are difficult moments for many of you, I know, but console yourselves, Tories, you have an entire week to sort it out with the DUP, and if God can create the world in one day less than that, you can surely come up with a plan for frictionless borders in that time. Inspired by my old colleague James Lyons, I'll try to keep this short. We wouldn't be here tonight without a group of amazingly generous people. I was going to thank the Tory whips for scheduling their vote for 9:20, but they've reneged on that deal, as they have on so many others. We wouldn't be here without the wonderful people of Policy Exchange. Thanks to Dean for letting us use this space again, and for agreeing that this year we could open the windows. Those of you who were here last year recall that it got very hot indeed. Apparently there was some concern that someone might throw themselves out of the window, which might explain why Theresa May and Damien Green are not here this evening. Tonight could not have happened without Julia Misen as well, and Jennifer Thompson at Diageo, who has kindly agreed to pour cocktails down your throats for the next 2 hours. If you look inside the menus, you will see that there are instructions on how to drink responsibly. Got to admire the futility of this. I'm very grateful to the good people of Waterstones for coming to run the bookstore. And looking around, my only problem, frankly, to all of you is, where are the fucking hydrangeas? I'd also like to thank my team of transcribers, some of whom are here this evening. There were 15 of you this time, which is probably too many to list without becoming boring. This isn't a Sunday Telegraph read. But I'm particularly grateful to Gabriel Pogren, Harriet Marsden, Hannah McGrath, George Greenwood and Oliver Milne, who have both stuck the course twice. They were very understanding when I didn't pay them for a month, certainly more tolerant than Gavin Williamson confronted with an outstanding airline bill. This time around, you'll open the book. It's not just an index that's missing, it's also a list of sources. Many of you are still in work, and I'd like to keep you there. Given the rate at which people are resigning, it's very important to protect people's identities. So you know who you are. I'm very grateful. Some of you know who each other is, but keep it to yourselves. It's always good to have a bunch of Brexiteers and Ramonas in the same place, drinking to forget their differences, and people from different campaigns and different political parties. Last year I said at this point that you're not all going to like everything in this book, but at least you can agree that you prefer me to the other people in the room. This year I think you'll probably be able to unite and agree that you all hate me. So, there are several absent friends. David Cameron, I'm told, is in his £25,000 shepherd's hut trying to write his own book, crying over the fact that there probably won't be a sequel to that one. Dominic Cummings, I'm told, is out having a beer with Jeremy Hayward. David Davis can't be with us because he's pulling an all-nighter writing 58 impact assessments. And George Osborne didn't bother to come, he tells me, because he's already bought 10 copies, which he's planning to use as logs when he heats up the frozen body parts in his freezer. I do need to pay tribute to 3 remarkable women. First and foremost, of course, is my wife Charlotte, who has put up with a lot of long absences. Worse than that, she's put up with my actual presence whilst writing the book. There's been a lot of talk on social media about a third book, and I have pledged solemnly not to write one next year. So, Tories, if you could keep your shit together for a little bit longer, that would be great. It's not an encouraging sight, watching the entire political class masturbate like chimps in a zoo every week, but let's hope that they can keep it under control for a little while. The alternative is that I don't write the third book, and then everybody in this room just keeps diaries and better notes and then just emails them through to save a lot of time. And if we could do that on a weekly basis, there'd be no need for a crisis at the end. I'd also like to thank Victoria Hobbs, my publicist, who has ever, not my publicist, my agent. That was a reminder to thank Helen Ellis, my publicist. 3 remarkable women whose identities are well known to me. And they are all brilliant in every regard. This book, of course, would not have happened without the great patience of Arabella Pike, my editor, who watched, well, I've said half a dozen deadlines go by, with the sort of grim determination and songfire that stands as a good example to all women in positions of power. Frankly, I'd be sending her to do the Brexit negotiations at this point.
I couldn't do worse.
What I've always done throughout this process was to fall back on the kind words of Dean here, who, when my book went in 6 weeks late, announced that when he was writing a book for Arabella, his book was 6 years late, which is something for us all to aim at. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. It looks thicker than the last one, and technically it is because they bought thicker paper this time around. It's actually 80 pages shorter. But as I always say in these situations, no one's asked you to read it, we're just asking you to buy it. So enjoy your evening and dig deep for those relatives.